bad enough for him when he get beat up every time he fights. So he doesn't want to also have. This is like the one thing he has left that has him winning.
Yeah.
It's his little highlight reel so he can fool everybody. But
without going into
I
it too much, though, I mean, was it? You don't have to, because for obvious reasons. But did it really play out like he said?
No, I mean even the supposed knockdown, if you look at it, he's pushing my head down and he's sort of and I'm sort of trying to pull away. There's also the clip is also from two different rounds. It's not from the same round, because he doesn't have a clip from the same round. He doesn't have 5 seconds running consecutively in that whole sparring where he's not getting punched in the face, So he's either throwing something, but even when he's throwing something, he's going to get hit back at any point. So he can't even give you 5 or 6 or 7 concurrent seconds running because he's going to get hit at some point in those 5, 6, 7 concurrent seconds running. So he had to take 2 or 3 seconds from one spot and 2 or 3 seconds from another spot. I think it's adorable. Yeah, that's one of the things that it's cute about MMA fans. They're so adorable in that they get so behind somebody like little kids, and then no matter what that person says, they have to believe it.
Yeah.
I would assume if I know Conor the way I think I know him at this point, he probably got rid of the whole sparring tape altogether because he can't even afford for it to leak. I would assume that sparring session probably doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
But I think it was adorable. I thought it was cute because a logical fight fan will tell you. No, it is because it's always cute when you have like such an affection for somebody that like you'll defend them even when you clearly know you're wrong, and you'll even put yourself in denial, So that's what I think is cute. I think it's cute that when people can do that about somebody they've never met, I think it's quite interesting, But nonetheless, no, there was no knockdown. If you look at even the video of the knockdown of the slip knockdown, whatever you want to call it, he's holding my head behind my hand, his hand behind my neck, and I'm trying to pull away. And then he kind of sweeps the right hand underneath, which is just a little slap. It's not even a shot that would knock anybody down. And I go down because the hand that he has on top of my head slides off. And since I'm pulling away, it's like when you play tug of war and then you let go of the rope, what happens? The other person pulls, right? So it was the same concept. I'm pulling my head away. He's pulling down on my neck, and then he throws this little slap. But when he throws that little slap at me, the hand that's on top of my neck slides off of the top of my head. So I go down, and that's what ultimately the momentum of me pulling away goes down. I mean, if you really look at the little slap, I mean, is that really going to knock anybody down with headgear and 16-ounce gloves? I mean, if you look at that little slap, you count that as a knockdown? I mean, really? I mean,
it depends how desperate you are, really.
Especially, it depends how desperate you are, and also when you consider that the other part of the highlight where he's hitting me with that left hand is another round. It was the last round where I was tired, but when I'd gone 12, and I probably won about 9 of those rounds. And the only reason I didn't win all 12, and the only reason he probably doesn't get stopped is because I'm not in shape. But really, if I always try to tell people, and people in boxing will know this. If they're not in denial, you probably have to be in really good shape to give somebody a 12-round beating. Yeah. But to take a 12-round beating, to go the whole 12 rounds taking a beating, you have to be in even better shape. You need to be in even better shape to do that, Amen. So everybody knows that, I was not in shape when I went to camp. He was trying to make an example out of me. And I think he was so frustrated that he couldn't. He was so frustrated that he got beat up nonetheless. And believe me, I was insulting him during the sparring session because I knew what he was trying to do. To make me go 12 rounds, knowing I'm not in shape, and I realized what he was trying to do. Like, so when they told me we were going to go 12 rounds, I said, I'm going to make a fool of this guy in front of his whole team. And because I know no matter, even if I'm not in shape, he doesn't have the talent to stay with me. So I knew I was in him. So the whole time I'm calling him names. I'm talking junk to Dana White, who's sitting outside the ring, and Lorenzo Fertitta, who's sitting outside the ring. I'm talking junk to his team, and all this other. I think he took it personally, which I guess he should have, because I took it personally that he tried to make me go 12 rounds out of shape. Because when I used to have championship training camps, I used to put in a guy for 3 rounds, and then another guy for maybe 2 rounds, and another guy for maybe 4 rounds. I would constantly alternate my sparring partners and do a long 10-round sparring or 12-round sparring, but I would do it with different sparring partners so that each guy was fresh. So it would challenge me, because it's not a challenge. Those guys aren't getting ready for 12 rounds. I'm getting ready for 12 rounds. So I want to be challenged consistently in that training camp. He was getting ready for 12 rounds. I'm not getting ready for 12 rounds. I just got up off my couch, you know.
Yeah, he
So the
was
fact that
taking
he
the
wanted
piss
me to,
there, really, wasn't he? For being honest.
yeah, well, he was trying to make me go 12, and then he figured if I couldn't go 12, he would be able to tell everybody that he stopped me in the gym because the sparring
Right.
was
Yeah. Yeah.
scheduled for 12, and I couldn't finish the 12 round sparring. So just on that principle alone, I had to make a fool of him now, you know. And I don't think he anticipated me being able to do 12 rounds. The only reason he even won any rounds was because I wasn't in shape, you know. The only
Yeah.
reason he didn't get stopped, I would have stopped him in that sparring session. It's unquestionable, and that's why he doesn't even show you the sparring, and it's why he never fought me,
Yeah.
because there's so much money. There's so much money in that fight at that point. There was so much money in that fight. It was
Yeah.
more money than any fight he could do, you know. So,
Absolutely. God,
but
ridiculous money.
he knows it was unquestionable what happened then and what would have happened if I'd been in shape. So the only thing he could do was run from it as much as he could, and of course, you know, the irony is that I told people he had no balls. He had, you know, he was a quitter, and he was, as soon as things get tough, he's the kind of guy that will quit. You just got to put him in a situation. And while nobody wanted to believe me at that time, the irony is that's all that has happened ever since that fight. Ever since, including in that fight, and ever since he's been fighting since, he's been put in positions where he's been put in tough, and he's always quit. And you know, that was I read that through him even when I was in camp. I said, this guy's all fuss, he's all bluster, he's all he's all show, he's all smoke and no fire.
Unless you're an old man in a
And
bar. I don't know. He likes going 12 rounds with them, I've heard.
yeah, he did that, and that's also more proof. You know, again, if unless you're lying to yourself, you know, how come the old man in the bar gets the punch in the face when he insults him? How come the guy in Miami who took a selfie with him gets his phone smashed? But when I get
Yeah.
in his face
Yeah.
3 weeks after that sparring, when I get in his face and tell him to his face in front of the assembled media that he has no balls, he does absolutely nothing. How is that? How is that possible? Because he already knows what's going to happen. With me, if you raise your hands, you're going to get hit. You're
Yeah.
going to get hit. It's 100%. You're going to, if you even think about raising your hands, you're going to get hit, you know?
Yeah.
And he knows that. He's already been, he's 3 weeks prior, he was getting beat up by me. So you can just kind of put the context of the character into perspective, you know? Why does the old man get hit for saying he doesn't want that piss of a whiskey? But I tell him in front of the assembled media, right to his face, right where everybody can hear, did you bring your balls? And where are they? And he does absolutely nothing. Because again, a punk knows when he's going to get punched in the face, and he doesn't like the feeling of it. And then a real fighter doesn't care if he's going to punch in the face; he'll still fight, right?
Yeah,
So
Paulie, it's the definition of a bully, mate. You know, it's the definition of a bully. Pick on people you know you can beat.
And that was why he ended up doing what he did with the pictures, and he made a highlight video, which it took him 2 weeks to edit, mind you. That highlight video came out 2 weeks after we sparred, because it was so difficult to probably make for him to find a few seconds here and there that he could splice together. But since he couldn't bully me, he had to do it that way. He was so angry that he couldn't bully me that he ended up having to create a different image of the events that happened. And like I said, that's what's so adorable about MMA fans. They're so cute the way they defend a guy like that, you know. And no matter how much he loses, every time I see this guy getting beat up, every time he fights, he's getting beat up. He's become the human piñata, because you hit a piñata. What do you do with a piñata? You hit it, you bang up a piñata, and you get a reward at the end of it. So he gets you the biggest reward. He gets you the most money, and the highest paying opponent you can find, and then you just get to beat him up. That's all he does. It's not like he's gonna beat you. He never. It's not like he ever wins.
It's not candy. It's money.
Yeah. You just get to beat up on him. I mean, bless Dustin Poirier. He just got to beat him up twice in a row. That's a nice amount of money, you know. So it was it's very. I thought that psychology. He's been an interesting study in psychology. I'll tell you that. And so have his fans. Really, his fans too.
Adorable. I just love
those
use
adorable people. You know, you love them.